This one is titled, Am I the Astronaut? I Can't Forgive My Husband for My Labor Experience. I, 24 female, have 2 children, 2 female and 9-month male. With my husband, 29 male. Labor was a nightmare with our oldest. She was an emergency C-section due to being breech, and she was born at 36 weeks because they couldn't stop my labor from progressing. To make it worse, I did it all alone. My husband and I were both in the military at the time and were stationed 7 hours away from one another. I don't hold this against my husband because I know there was nothing he could have done to be there on time. He arrived about 5 hours after our daughter was born, and I finally wasn't alone anymore. Fast forward 2 years, I was due to have my son, and at 36 weeks on the dot, my water broke while I was at work. My husband complained about having to leave work to take me to the hospital because, are you sure it's really labor? It's probably just Braxton Hicks. Relax. I told him, if you don't want to leave work, that's fine. I'll drive myself to the hospital. But I'll make sure to let them know you aren't welcome in the room until after the baby is here. Dang. There you go, girly. He ended up leaving work and driving me to the hospital, but once we got there, labor was not progressing. I was stuck at 3 centimeters and my contractions were steadily 10 minutes apart. They sent me home and told me to return once they were 5 minutes or less apart. On the way home, my husband again said, are you sure they aren't just Braxton Hicks? Mind you, this was after the nurses confirmed I was in labor. When we got home, my husband decided he was going to go hunting and to let him know if labor gets worse. He left me alone willingly to care for our 2-year-old while I was laboring. My contractions got down to 5 minutes apart. I texted to let him know, and all he said was, what do you want me to do about it?
Fuck this guy.
He ended up shooting a deer and had me outside in the cold taking pictures of him with the deer while contracting every 5 minutes. I didn't feel ready to go back to the hospital yet, so I put the 2-year-old to bed and we went to sleep. In the morning, my contractions were still at 5 minutes. You were able to sleep through that? Damn. I took a bath, took a walk, tried eating, and nothing was happening, so I told him we needed to go back to the hospital. By the time we got there, they were before 3 and 4 minutes apart, but all my husband could talk about was the stupid deer and how he was going to get it to the butcher and taxidermist. Once they took me back to the OR, repeat C-section, my husband was really supportive. I have underlying health conditions, and he was very attentive, making sure the anesthesiologist knew about everything going on. Unfortunately, my son came out not breathing. Damn. He had to immediately get transferred to a NICU at a different hospital. It was one of the most painful experiences I've had to go through altogether, and the next day, all I wanted was a milkshake. It sounds silly, I know, but after asking him multiple times, my husband never would drive up the road to get me one. Running out of red flags here, brozo. Our entire family laughs at the situation and thinks it's such a funny story and that I'll laugh about it someday. But after 9 months, I still feel so dismissed, like he doesn't care about me. It feels like he put his hobby over his laboring wife, and it honestly makes me grateful he wasn't there for the birth of our daughter. I feel such resentment over the whole situation, and I don't know how to move past it. My husband tells me it isn't a big deal, and I'm overly sensitive every time I bring it up. And our therapist doesn't think it's broken beyond repair, but I honestly just need some outside perspective. Okay, I had to go back and reread that. Our therapist does not think it's broken beyond repair. Am I the astronaut for not just getting over it and not forgiving him? How do I move forward from here and begin to forgive the past? Edit, just want to add for clarification, I shouldn't say my water broke, I should say it was leaking. I was shocked at how many people called me out for this, lol. I'm not a doctor or a nurse, and I was a little preoccupied when my OB was explaining it to me. Also, a bunch of you called me out for defending my husband's character, and you're right. I've always tried to see the best in people, and that is what I base my opinion off of. What y'all helped me realize is a man with good character would have already been forgiven. The fact that I'm still hung up on this and he hasn't done enough to make up for it makes me realize he might not be as good of a man as I thought. I'm still trying to reply to all of you, but it's a lot. I never expected this to blow up the way that it has so quickly, and I definitely didn't expect to learn I was underreacting. I genuinely thought y'all would tell me I was being dramatic. Well, that's sad. And for the family finding humor in this situation, I'm not too sure if it's because they find it out of character, or maybe because it's a delivery story that we'll never forget. It's also possible they just feel awkward being told the story and laugh it off. We didn't tell most people about this until after the fact, so maybe they're just thinking, at least it's over now. As for my friends, most of them understand where I'm coming from, but don't have children of their own to relate the situation to. I plan to bring this up in our couples therapy appointment tomorrow, so I'll try to come back and update with his and the therapist's reaction. Thank you all for the support. It warms my heart hearing from so many caring people, and also it stings knowing people went through similar and worse during labor. But damn, what do you think, Candy Thunder?
I think after 2 days in labor and the fact that he couldn't drive his ass up the road to get her a milkshake after she just had the C-section is the part that just like put me over the point where I was like,
that was what did it.
All
that was
of it.
That was
all of it. But that was just like the nail. That was it. That was done. Like I'm like, he doesn't care. It doesn't affect him. His body's not in pain. He's not having his uterus contracting every 5 minutes.
No, he's inconvenienced at max.
100% inconvenienced, and he doesn't care. He doesn't think anything of it. He's not trying to put himself in his wife's shoes. He's not trying to do anything other than I'm inconvenienced because I was supposed to go hunting, and then we're sent home. Now I can go hunting, and like having the whole thing, and just the whole guy. I don't even know what I would say to him because I don't know that I would have even stayed. That this is 9 months after birth. Like I would tell him I'm so pissed off. I am so hurt that in this moment when I needed you, when you weren't there for round 1, you couldn't be bothered to show up for round 2 in any way that inconvenienced you. Like you weren't there. You didn't show up. And that is what I'm struggling with. It's not the fact that you didn't buy me a milkshake. It's not the fact that you it's just the fact that you weren't there. Like in spirit, in supportiveness, like you just couldn't be bothered. And I think that's the part that I would struggle with getting over the most, because you want somebody in that moment who's in your corner, who's there for you specifically, and he didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, and look at it this way. Every action he took just reinforced the fact that he's not the man you hoped he was. And it's sad. And look, speaking to him right now, I'm like, dude, that is your wife who is going through something that is easily life-threatening and very complicated and scary as and that is your child coming out of your wife who is also going through something that is easily life-threatening and scary as how you are flippant about that process is baffling to me. He should have been the right man all along. He should have behaved like somebody who gives a shit as a husband, as a father all along, but hasn't. So is now the time to start communicating boundaries and trying to fix this to help him become the man he should be? Or are you done? And should you believe him when he's shown you who he is time and time again?